What's up everybody, David here, and today I'm going to show you guys why you should consider, if you already aren't doing it, using a gaming keyboard in your recording studio. Now, the computer I use for recording, I also game on, and because of that, I have a Corsair K55 gaming keyboard. This is not a fancy keyboard by any means. I got this with the mouse for like $100, but it's a solid keyboard, and what's really cool about it is it has 6 programmable buttons on the left side of the keyboard. So you can program these to do whatever you want inside of a certain program using their software called iCUE. And I have programmed these to do certain functions inside of Cubase that make my life 1,000 times easier. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I have Cubase open here, and I switched from Studio One to Cubase. And in Studio One, there are some really cool zoom controls. So you can hold Control and Shift inside of Cubase, and it zooms horizontally into wherever your mouse is pointed. And something Studio One also did is that while holding Control, it would zoom vertically, like so. Cubase does not do that. People have been asking for it. There are people that have made these custom scripts to do it, but it's 2020 and Cubase still does not have that. And I think it's stupid. But I found a little bit of workaround. So the normal way of doing this is with Shift G to go smaller and then Shift H to go larger. Once again, that sucks. Like, that takes way too long. I don't like that. But I noticed inside of the Cubase key commands that there are some special controls for zooming. So zoom tracks 1 row, zoom tracks 12 rows, zoom tracks 4 rows. So this is referring to how large these tracks are, like so. I don't know the actual values of how many rows this is, but that's what that's referring to. So I made those a key command or a macro inside my keyboard. So basically how I did that, if we go back into the key commands, that is preferences, that's not right. You'll see that on those zoom controls, I have them routed to F10, F11, and F12, because I don't use any of those. I don't care what those do. I don't even know what they did before actually, but I routed those to F10, F11, F12. So it'll go from 1 row, 2 row, and then 4 rows. So let's jump into iCUE and I'll show you how I have this set up. So if we go to my profiles, you'll see that I have a profile for Cubase, Studio One, and Premiere. I have profiles for all the programs I use quite often, and these just really help me work faster. So the way I did that is you make a new action, you name it F12 or whatever, and then you go into the record settings and you add a new setting, and you're telling it to assign a keyboard event. So I'm saying when I hit this key, I want it to actually hit this key, and I scroll down and look for F12 or whatever. So that's all I'm doing. So it's actually incredibly simple. All I've done is tell iCUE that whenever I hit G1, I want it to actually hit F12, G2, F11, G3, F10, and so on. So that when I'm in Cubase and I want to zoom as small as I can go, or my smallest preferred setting, I hit G3 and that presses F10, which is programmed to this zoom setting. G2 is programmed to this zoom setting. G3 is programmed to the largest setting. That's it. So that way, I don't have to even use the scroll wheel. I can just press one button and I'm zoomed in to some of my favorite or preferred zoom settings. This is what I usually like to work on. I feel like I can see a lot of waveforms, a lot of clips, but it's still large enough for me to edit. Now, what if I need more? What if I need a taller zoom? That's where this comes in. So back in iCUE, I have a key command called Big Ol' Tracks, which is just even larger than before. So what I have this program to do is basically, so let me show you how I did this. You add a new one, you can name it whatever you want, doesn't matter, press record, and whatever it is you want to program as a macro, you just do on your keyboard right then and there. So what I wanted this to do was Shift and H 6 times. I wanted to enlarge the tracks 6 times. So all I did was hold Shift, press H as many times as you want, hit record, boom, it has saved that. And then all you do is click on a key and it maps it to that key. So whenever I press this key, iCUE is going to input Shift plus H 6 times, or however many I just recorded there. So I'm going to delete that because I don't need that. But that's what I've done here. So I recorded me holding Shift and pressing H 6 times. And then I went in and actually altered the execution times. So they were kind of long before. They were like 50 to 100 milliseconds. I altered them all to 10 milliseconds to make this action as short as possible. I tried a little bit shorter, but it seemed like the computer wasn't registering it fast enough. So 10 kind of seemed like the sweet spot. So now, if I go into Cubase, whatever track setting I'm on, now this one is routed to G4, so this one right here. Whatever track setting I'm on, if I hit G4, it will hold shift and press H 6 times. So it's going to get 6 times larger. Boom. So if I'm on my largest track setting and I'm editing something and I'm like, you know what, I need more visibility here, I press G4 and it makes it 6 times larger. Just like that. And when I want to go back to normal, I just hit one of my zoom options and I'm good to go. So this allows me to navigate, especially zoom wise, around the project so much quicker than before, like a lot quicker. This was something I really used quite a bit inside of Studio One. So when Cubase did not have those vertical zoom features, I had to figure something out. I remembered, wait, I have a gaming keyboard, and I decided to use that, and it went phenomenal. This is something that is absolutely indispensable in my current workflow right now. So that's just one option of how I've sped up my workflow. And so that's what I have set up for my keyboard. I have one key left that I can change to whatever I want. I don't know what that's going to be yet. I'm sure I'll think of something that I could be doing quicker, but that's what I've done here. And I believe the same thing goes if you have a mouse with a bunch of different numbers on it. Like some mouses have like 1 through 10 for gaming. You can route any of those numbers to any key command or macro that you want in these settings only when you're using Cubase. So if we go to the actual profile itself, you'll see I've linked it to the Cubase execution file. So whenever I open this program, it switches my key commands to what I have set up for this Cubase profile. You can also change the mouse settings too. You can set how fast you want the mouse to operate in Cubase only. So if you like a slower pointer speed inside of Cubase, just so you can be more accurate, you can do that only in that one program. All you have to do is make a change and save it within the Cubase profile, and anytime you open Cubase, it will do whatever you have previously set up to do, only when that program is open. So this is absolutely indispensable to me. I use these custom keys all the time inside of Cubase. They help me navigate and they help me record so much faster than normal. And I think if you find yourself doing a lot of similar, really repetitive key commands or really repetitive macros all at once, I would definitely look into a gaming keyboard with some programmable keys like this. Corsair makes amazing ones. The iCUE software is incredibly easy to use. My mouse is also Corsair, so it also works with the same software. So what I would do, if you get a gaming keyboard with these keys and you also get a mouse with like the number keys on the side that you also want to program, I would grab the same brand, just so you can program them both inside of one program. So you can manage your keyboard and your mouse inside of one Cubase profile in one program. It's just going to make it 1,000 times easier. But once again, if you find yourself doing very repetitive key commands and shortcuts, this is something you should look into because it saves you a lot of time. I'm a stickler for saving time. I don't like to mess around. Like, I want to record, I want to get shit done, I want to mix, I want to move on with my life. Like, I don't like to do stupid stuff like this that takes up, maybe just a second or two, but in the grand scheme of things, this takes up a lot of time. You can even program this to record your mouse wheel movement. It can record you scrolling up with a mouse. So if you have key commands that work with holding a key and scrolling the mouse, you can program that here too. So there's a lot of flexibility that you can use here, and you can use this to help you in any way that you see fit. It's incredibly customizable, and it's something you should definitely consider if you aren't using a keyboard like this already. So that's it for today, guys. I hope this helps you. I hope this gives you some food for thought on how to speed up your workflow and your recording process. Of course, let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know if you actually use a gaming keyboard already. I know I'm not the only one. I know other dudes are gaming on their studio computers because they're also great for gaming. So some of you might have these keyboards. Some of you might be doing this. Of course, let me know. I looked for some previous videos, but I didn't really find anything directly talking about gaming keyboards and mice and hardware, and specifically using it with recording software. So let me know if you're doing this already, if you're going to do it, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. So as always, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that fancy YouTube stuff, of course. And thank you so much for watching. My name is David, and I will see you next time.